back to Y254 TV. This is still Y in the morning. We are from having one of our most interesting segments on this show. Where we were playing games. Leo tumekula, lakini leo Benjamin tucheza na hiyo game, lakini ni sawa. It's all right. Next time mimi na Val tutabeba chupa zetu. Yeah, zetu zenye sisi tunajua kwenye tumetoa. But anyway, moving or rather shifting gears to this other side, we are on our first conversation on Empowerment Cafe. Today we get to fish. Why? Kwani natoa pia haya matamchi? Hey, Atifisha. Hey, the Kikuyu I am with is rubbing on me and it is not nice. Hey. Okay, so Vanyamaza, we are getting to feature Deshka, and in this week's episode we get to feature Tracy Opon, who is an executive director at Deshka International. She will be telling us more about what Deshka does and who she is as a person. So let's welcome Tracy to the show. Karibu sana Tracy.
Asante.
Tell me, who's Tracy? I love the way I love the part.
Well, Tracy is a multifaceted leader. I get to run Deshcare as a community initiative, but I am also a business development lead and a programs lead at Brand K International. I mean, Brand K Integrated Marketing and Communications. I also freelance here and there with a couple of consultancy companies. And yeah, I thrive in international development conversations. I thrive in sustainable development conversations, things talking innovation, things talking community solutions, and just even the dialogue of the youth. That is where you'll find me at. So even currently there's one of the segments happening called People Dialogue Festival at Uhuru Park, which I think would be a really good thing for all the youth to come out and see and speak out to our wakurugenzi and waheshimiwa on it. Yeah.
Interesting. So, I am trying to see where do I start with Tracy, the person, or talk about Deshcare, but we will find a way to marry them. So where does your journey start?
Deshcare started back in 2020, where I was not the executive director. The founder, called Dennis Mavia, started this because of where he came from. Yes, he is an orphan. Yes, he grew up in a marginalized community where girls were lacked sanitary towels, which is such a basic component. It's like one of those basic needs, you know, because you find, yes, we need food, we need shelter, we need clothing. But then again, for a girl who goes through something monthly, then that becomes a basic need. So that is how Deshcare got started. We are mainly in Kibera. It started with just 2 people, then came to be an initiative for 5 people. Then we decided to take things a notch higher and to take the challenges as they come, where we got to register Deshcare International in the non-profit world.
Amazing, amazing. So, at what point did you come in at 2020 or you came in later?
2020.
2020 when it was starting.
Yes.
So, is Desh still there or Desh left?
Desh is there as a founding board member.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking you, because I want you to tell me what the transition from Desh to you look like.
Well, given empowerment and capacity building that is very important with the youth right now, it's very important even for you, Grace, to ensure there's a younger you who gets to learn your vision, who gets to learn the skills you have, such that if they come out or if they are to even, if anything is to happen to you, your vision doesn't die. You get it? So I think that's what happened with me and Desh. I was there as a supporting friend. I don't think I was there to have any title, to carry any vision yet. For me, I was there as, oh my gosh, this is such a good initiative. Can I plug in? And I think my proactiveness, because there was this, we got to handle World Environmental Day, and I got to see, hey, this is too disorganized. And I think me being me, I'll want to please do da. So I got to pick that up without even knowing who was part of this, who was, and I think that is when now Desh saw me, and Desh was like, I need you. So that started, and him just even grooming me in, speaking to me, teaching me, capacity building me, is where now we got to transition from Tracy. In fact, I used to be a programs coordinator to a programs manager. But then again, what I was doing was not programs. It was much more. It was like I'm operations, yeah? So that's now when things for Desh to transition out and become a sounding member was now how it was a no-brainer. It was Tracy, you're taking up.
Allah,
Yeah.
you know, the last time I interacted with Deshcare, rather interacted with the programs you do, it was during the time that Desh was around.
Yes.
So when I saw there was a change, I was like, interesting. I'd love to hear what happened here. You know, but then again, it's interesting when NGOs or other organizations get to, it means they're growing, because if 5 years ago, the person that was there is still the same person that's calling the shots, it means that the organization is not growing.
Yeah.
How was that transition for you?
I think it's one thing, you know, being underground and calling it out, and it's another thing being there. I think I didn't really, then I knew how to run things, and I didn't really know much about being an executive director. As in, I think I was in my early 20s, not that I'm in my late, but I'm in the middle. But I was in my very early 20s, and I was like, hey, you know, it sounds nice putting it in your LinkedIn, but it's another thing, like being on the ground and having things running. There's so much that comes with it, and that's where now I had to bring in all the theoretical things I have read. I had to go to Google Coursera to start classes on grants and project management. I had to do EduHub, you know, because now it means you need to be challenged more. Even you need to grow more as a person, as a leader. It means now the same thing Dash did to me, I need to do to the rest who are behind me. It means I need to look for donors, I need to look for funding, I need to look for partnerships, because how is this going to grow? But then again, I had a little small job experience working in the NGO sector in the marginalized communities, but then it was for tech. So I brought that here and tried to duplicate at least, you know, like the structures, the organization. And I think it is so far so good. It's good when you see on that LinkedIn, you have 5 followers, and you're like, wow, someone is tapping into the vision, someone is seeing what we're doing. And it's also not easy about grants funding, about looking. It's easy getting the girls who are going through sanitary period poverty, but it's not easy for someone to give you 200 shillings and say, you know, in this Kasongo area, it's not easy for. So I think it's really amazing how our potential partners, our current partners, have really tapped into our vision and support us.
I think what you've said is very amazing. I think I know what Deshcare stands for, but then now it's just hitting me that there's someone who doesn't know what Deshcare stands for. Please tell us what the name stands for.
Deshcare International is a Kenyan youth-led non-profit organization. We are a certified NGO. We have 3 pillars, that is menstrual health management, water and sanitation hygiene, and the environment.
Okay.
We also support education through, I wouldn't say scholarships, but we're able to connect you with a potential donor, but that's if they come to us. So we're able to tap into that and say, fine, we can tap into our resources and find a child.
So usiende Deshcare ukisema watakupea pesa ya kusoma, please.
It will not work like that.
They will, if they have a potential sponsor, they will tell you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I think a lot of times, and I want you to tell me what you think about it, because I tend to think a lot of times people feel entitled to NGOs. You need to help me. Niko na shida. Awoni ni sina. How do you deal with that mentality?
Um, I think, first of all, I wouldn't say managing the experiences because, you know, you'll need to manage. There's a lot of managing that happens with NGOs. Because, yes, we see there's a problem. Yes, we see there's a gap. Yes, we see you need help. But then also, who do you want to help you? You see, so you can come to an NGO, I need ABCD, I need ABCD, but if we're not in the capacity, we're not in the capacity. Because then again, we are just a leeway. You'll find most NGOs have partners from outside. You can find like, okay, there was the USAID, right? You find that was a source. So now that it's cut, are you going to blame the NGO now? You know, also while you're being helped, try to be empowered. And I think that is also what Desh Care stands for right now. When we go and visit the girls in Kibera through menstrual health management, where we're not just handing out, we're also giving you the knowledge for you to know, this is what I'm going through, this is how I'm supposed to deal with things, this is every single thing. Far from the books, there's the practicality aspect of what periods are. And how you need to deal with them as a woman holistically. So we really try to create a wholesome woman, such that it's not just the handing out that you're being given. And also in Desh Care, we try not to go to the same place. So you'll find Kibera is really big, but it can also become really small when you tap into you get. So we try not to go to the same place because then it creates that dependency. Knowing that every month Desh Care is coming, Desh Care is coming. So we try, because now we're trying to spread the word across. We're trying to absolute period poverty from the community. It is now something that now we need to, if we have empowered you once, it's not like we're not going to come back again, but can we get to also give that little knowledge to someone else outside there? Yes.
Amazing. Will you share a success story with us of a young person, whoever, like a success story of someone who has benefited from Desh Care?
I think I have so many success stories.
So I want you to remember maybe one that maybe stands out for you. I don't know.
I'll give you two.
Okay. Nice. Thank you.
So the first one was the education scholarship. I don't think I had ever envisioned buying a box or going to do school shopping or parental shopping at the age of 23, you know, going for school shopping for a child. I think that day I came home and I just told my parents, thank you. Because money was coming in, but it was going out faster, you know.
Yeah.
And I was so emotional because our dear girl, Jemima, she's actually a teen mom. And one of the events we were having, she came and told us, I want to go back to school. That is where it started. So at that time, we did not have the capacity. But I feel, because many of us, and this is now one thing we're usually told not to do not bring emotions and
but sisi ni nani?
Sisi ni nani? The girls in the group were like, no, we have to help, we can do it. That is now where parenting started. You know, you receive report cards, anything the headmaster is calling you, anything the teacher is calling you, Jemima needs is calling you. And at 23, at that time, I didn't have a job, but I was like, whoa.
I mean,
and
you're also thinking I'm a student or something.
Yeah. So it was not, and I thank God it was not just me. There was Naini, there was Ruth, and there was Desh and Martin. And taking her to school, I think that was the most emotional thing I have ever gone through. You know, you take her to school, you're there guiding her, the same way your parents did. And
sasa wewe ndio umekuwa mzazi wa kupeana
exactly.
Na usome, na usilete mchezo.
Exactly.
Work hard.
So that happened, and I think it's been 4 years. It's been a good 4 years. Now she completed her KCSE last year, and she got a B+. And that was something
interesting.
So amazing.
Wow.
You know, so that was one of my best success. I think I even just went to LinkedIn and I was like, my God, this is it. And I'm not just sharing this because, we have capacity, but because it takes so much to just listen to one youth and empower that person. It is just one person. Like even Michelle Obama said, do not look to inspire tens of thousands. Just go to that community and inspire one.
They'll be enough.
Maybe they are able, and that's enough, you know. And for me, that was it.
Wow.
I think the other one was during our menstrual health management drive pads. And one thing that really caught me was our father brought his child to where we were. At that time, we were at, what is it called? Makina. And he just said, Tracy, I want you to be with my child. Like, guide her. You know, the mom, they lost the mom. He doesn't know what to do, but we are coming. And you know, that is now also something we're really fighting in Desh Care, where we are, in fact, our 2024 theme was putting men into menstruation. These are conversations we need to have, even with our fathers, with our brothers. And it should be okay. It should not be, what are you telling me? Like, can you go find your aunties? No, we can sit down and have a conversation about this. So that touched me because it means we are working. It means the community is getting woke. The community we're now fostering such communications, even with the men, you know? And for me, that is such a success story. Like, you bringing your child just to get the knowledge is enough. Yeah.
You support more than 500 girls to, with sanitary towels.
Yes.
How are you able to keep that initiative running?
As I said earlier, we have current donors who subscribe monthly. We also have partners like Nia and Zana Africa. We also have partners like Dreams, where if we go to the ground, we will ask for, you know, can we get girls? Can we do this? Also, just from our database, our volunteer database, I think once people tap into your vision, unless you show them, no, you shouldn't, they keep tapping into it as long as you grow. So as long as I see your growth, as long as I see your transparency, then I can still tap into that vision. So you'll find even someone telling us, I want to do this, like, can I support a whole pad drive? So that gets to go there. And you get to realize after that, we'll write a report, we'll do all the necessities, all the nitty-gritties, that audits that are needed, and send it back to you. Yeah.
Amazing. That's nice. In your opinion, because you've been in the informal settlements doing charitable works for a while, in your opinion, what do you think is the biggest barrier to education?
I think the biggest barrier to education,
especially in those informal settlements.
Let me think about that, because it is something. The biggest barrier to education,
the majority of the cases you deal with,
I think it's just society itself, because there is one world we are living in outside here, then there's another world in those informal settlements. They have a mind of their own. You find a 19-year-old telling you, I want to get married. And that's a goal.
Wow.
That's a goal. That's why I was actually thinking about it. I'm like, okay, so how do I say this? I would say it's the society, the upbringing you are in. So the more we keep tapping into...
the lack of exposure?
You can say the lack of exposure, but that means we need to tap more into the informal settlements. Not because they don't have, but because we need to keep spreading the civic education to them. Because you find someone is telling you at 19, I want to get married. You ask why. It's not any valid reason. It's my friends. My friend already has a baby. My friend is already staying with a man. My friend is already...
Those are goals.
They are... I'm telling you, it's a whole mind of its own.
Wow. Juu sasa wewe ni rafiki yangu, uko na months, or unaishi, like, that should be a goal.
And you see, I found it very relative, because for me, at a young age like that, I'm like, okay, what? And I'll start judging from my perspective. But I realized the only way you're going to get to the community is through integrating yourself with them. So I put my mind, my exposed mind behind and just sat down and just started talking to them. Hey, so what's going on? Why do you feel like this? Do you feel like this could go different? And they get to listen to you when they feel like now you're friends, other than now you're coming from a teacher perspective. Because even this is not different. Even another girl and a guy, both of them just came and said, we want to get married. I need to get a woman who's going to be washing my clothes. Mi nafanya nduthi, mi nataka kufanya nini, nataka mwanamke. But it's because that is what is going on around them. That is the goal around them. You see, getting married is a goal for them. Inafika time mother anakuambia, by the way, bed sitter itukalishi sisi wawili. So what do? So unahama. Weka dem yo sa unahamia hapi. So inabidi uhamie kwa a guy. So that happens a lot. So it needs a lot of tapping into and the civic education for you to tell them, okay, is it a business you want? Is it nikikuanzishia business ya maswiti? Will you sustain it?
Yeah.
But then what they've grown up with is not financial freedom.
Working hard,
It's not.
like work with your hands, make money.
The sweets will sell themselves. If they do, yes. If they don't, fine. There's a lot. That side is a whole mind of its own. But I'm really happy that a bit of it is getting like exposed. But also there's so much work for us to do. There's so much work for us to do. So there's that side, and also there's also the, can I say, la vie kileleshwa tunaoitangaje? Karen, Runda, Kitisuru. Bougie. There's the bougie areas also that there's a gap. Because you'll also find in sanitary management, there's that child who has not been spoken to by the father or the mother.
So
about
on
sanitary.
this other side,
There's a gap in most places. So you'll find, in fact, there's a time in a live we were having about menstrual health management, and there's a girl who just DM'd me and told me, Tracy, I come from ABCD. I don't know anything about ABCD. I told her, fine, let's have a call. Sent her my number. We talked on call. And I was just so surprised because what she's telling me, I'm like, wow. She was like, products are not a problem to me. I have them.
Akona pesa, akona products.
Like the mother will buy as many products as you want. Oh, you don't even want to use Always? Fine. You want to use what? Cortex? Fine. You want to import? Fine. You get it? Products are not the problem. But she doesn't understand. The problem is the knowledge.
Wow.
The problem is, how do I know even how to count my days? What is the follicular phase? What happens to my body? There is that gap that happens in also the bougie areas. And maybe that is something now we don't talk about enough. And that is why now I keep saying there's so much digital footprint even as desh care we need to do, because you don't know who you're talking to. It doesn't have to be a child from the street. It can be that woman seated in Runda or Kitisuru.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's not even an issue of watu wako kwa ghetto or uyu wako kwa, what do we call it, ako, whatever those places are called. I don't know what to call them. But it's not even, now I'm realizing that it's a knowledge issue.
Yeah.
Both in the high-end places and even the informal settlements.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes,
so
it is.
Apart from that, what other challenges have you experienced in your line of work?
I think challenges would be, challenges probably would be donor funding. I don't think it's been easy for me who didn't even have experience, for desh care who didn't know desh care as a whole collective, because we mainly form a lot of Dexterians who just came to support the initiative, and now it has grown and we're like, okay, this is a stepping stone. So a lot of donor funding was an issue where we need to learn things outside. As I told you, for me, it's because of the little experiences that I get outside also that I'm able to grow this organization. It's the little things that I get to push myself to start studying, to start knowing. You know, even just studying for grants management those are the small challenges. And also it's the pushing for other people to get to to learn, to get to learn, the volunteers, to get to be part of this wholly. It's also not easy because, again, there's still the operational costs. You'll find many are telling you, oh, I need to go and I need transport, I need lunch, I need... And you're like, bruv.
And they assume you have that money.
Yeah.
And if you don't give them unanima.
Yes. So there's that. But we've learned how to manage that because, again, tapping into the course, you know, you can't tell me lunch is driving you. So there's that. There are very many challenges that we face. Donor funding, integrating the community is not easy, especially if I have braids and sijui. No.
It's still an issue.
No, I need to walk there as if I'm one of them. There's that. There's also speaking to the men. I think last year was also hard because my main advocacy was putting men into menstruation. So I was really calling out a lot of, how would we call it? A lot of male chauvinism. So I got a lot of backlash, but also I was saying the cause, you know, because it starts from home. That sanitary journey starts from home. Starts from how comfortable you make your children feel, and it starts with you as the head. Yeah.
Wow, wow. I'm shocked that even in Nairobi, in places where you wouldn't expect that people would have a problem with things like dressing, your appearance, it's actually still a problem.
It is.
Wow.
I
remember there was a time I went to do research, and I went in the parts za Nauko. I don't want to mention those sites, but I went to Isiolo, but now the interior parts of Isiolo. And I realized I was wearing venye tu nimevaa jeans, t-shirt, ngoma, and then nilikuwa nimevaa kofia, and I was talking to the elderly. You know, kulikuwa na certain look. So the next time I was planning to go to Isiolo, I was being told, beba dress, beba dera,
Leso.
beba kitu ya kujifunika. Then I'm like, I'm not okay, but anyway.
But you see, that is now integrating you into the community. Because if you want them to listen to you.
Yeah, I realized that. Lazima ukae kama wao. Because if you don't look like them, then unatusho.
Yeah, we have nothing to talk about.
What do you wish someone told you when you began? That now you know. Like, see, if someone had told me this, I wish someone had mentioned this. What's that moment for you?
I think I don't have a wish. Because I always saw the purpose and the vision. I think probably someone would tell me just to keep pushing, to keep pushing. Because you'll find a lot of the girls out here even meet me when I'm walking where? Ngong Road. And you hear, Tracy, Tracy, you're like, what? You see? And for me, it's not even about that fame. It's about someone remembers me because of something I did. Someone remembers because I told them a story and they fell in love with it. Someone remembers that little thing that pushed them to complete school. Or someone even remembers I helped them. That, for me, is satisfaction enough. So just keep pushing. Yeah.
What do you think, rather, how can, in your opinion, how can governments, county government, partner or rather help grassroots organizations like yours reach a wider audience and wider people?
I think before they even think of partnering is the policies. You know, we need to have free pads in schools. As I said, this is a basic need. So we need to have free pads. The same way we're giving out free condoms, we need to have free pads. And I think Senator Gloria was also fighting for this. And I applaud her for that journey, for that initiative. Because then again, you're doomed if you don't, you're damned if you don't. So even what she did to Parliament was very brave of her. But also you saw the reaction. If we're saying this thing is, oh, we're talking menstrual health, then what she did was okay. Why did it cause such a reaction of walking with stained pants? Why is it disturbing you? You see? So I think number one, policy changes in the government would really help a lot of grassroots organizations. Also, the taxing, part of policy, right? The eco levy. So if we pandisha right now, pads, we need not an 8-pack. As a girl, me, I use a 14. The 14 slices, we call them slices of bread. The 14 slices of bread. I use that. That is 200 shillings. 200 shillings, a child in the marginalized community, is that 100 shillings for bread for tomorrow or for sanitary towel? So it get to becomes a leisure for that family, you see, and they get to use mattresses. So number one, those taxes on sanitary towels, like the things that should be just basic before they even think of partnering with grassroots organizations. They should help us, first of all, reform those policies. I've seen Zimbabwe being the first African country that gives leave for menstrual health, and I think that was so cool because, hey, some people have bad cramps that need them to lie on the floor. So you can imagine going to the office and finding a co-worker sleeping on the floor and you're like, they don't
Tell me about it.
Yeah. So policy reforms, then we can speak about grassroots, because then when you reform the policies, you're also helping us. Because right now we're buying things at CSR price, right? But what if we don't need to buy them? We get it from the government. What we do is now to give out the knowledge to the girls, you know, to empower the girls to be holistic and wholesome. I think that is a whole generation born. Yeah.
What do you hope to by the time you were, because one of the things you mentioned was that you would want to mentor someone else into your position. Where do you hope Desh Care would be in a few years' time? What's your vision for Desh Care?
Currently, we have impacted 6,000 girls.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Let me give it 5 years. My strategic plan for the next 5 years is Desh Care to be more, to have a center, a training center where it's not just about handing out the disposable pads. It's now we're doing reusable pads. And reusable in terms of we are also trying to educate the women or the men in the marginalized communities where they get to manufacture, to create. Washone the pads, if half of it can go to be sold, fine. Half of it can be taken back to girls, that's also good. I think a training center would be a very good start for Desh Care. Yeah.
What are some of the lessons you've learned in community work?
In community work, you really need to have a purpose. That is one. You really need to have a purpose. And the second thing, you also need greed is not needed there. You don't need greed. So your purpose drives, your passion drives, then the rest will follow.
Right. So allow me to take a couple of comments as we sort out something with your mic. Thank you. So let me take up a few comments. This morning I think tumwambia mtusalimie, mtuambie good morning, salams, alafu tukose hatuwezi kosa kuzisoma. So I'm going to be reading that right now. Let me start from huku chini so that Val will start from juu. Yeah, I think nilisema mimi ni wa bottom up. Nilikuwa naambia Val hiyo kitu off air, nimesahau. Okay, I forgot. Musamali Meshak says locked. Thank you, influencer. Influencer says good morning. Madison Leon watching from Machakos. Keep it locked. I assume that's what he wanted to say. Douglas Miruki anasema tuned. There is presenter Jonah anasema Kasonge. JJ anasema Mombasa ni following. Nimo Shix anasema good morning. Vincent Oguto anasema following. Juma Ella anasema good morning. BTA Babu anasema 001. Mutuku Kithuku Wanzeni. We! Anasema pamoja. Then there is Andole Junior anasema mapema ndio best. Then there is Nixon Milele Akinyinyi alafu anacheka. Sasa tumefanya Moses Bavington anasema, love the color yellow strips, tuned in. All right. Then there's Meksha Kisilu anasema, count me in from Makutano Mwala. Magda anasema, thicker green to conduct us. Let me take two more, then we will be going back to our conversation. Francis anasema anasikiza nikiwa hapa Mwanda, Bungoma County. Then Samson Jr. is saying Chwele well represented. Val will be reading the rest. If ujasikia nikisoma yako, please do not worry. She got you covered. She will be reading the rest of your comments. We apologize for that slight technical hitch. Why? Squeeze in kola mama who fanya hivi. Val, tell your people to leave me alone. Anyway, sorry for that technical hitch. We were back. We were talking about what are some of the lessons you've learned in community work.
Some of the lessons I've learned in community work is one, you need to have a purpose, because if you don't have a purpose, then you get to get tired. You get to get weighed down. You get to, if challenges occur, you get to really lose and get demotivated very fast. But if it gets to be your passion, then you get to wake up early, eager to challenge, eager to go there and set forth and see what else you can do. What other area or aspect can you tap into? So also, community work isn't driven by greed. It is not completely. So if you go into the NGO world thinking you can tap into money, no, then you're completely losing sight of why you're there. Yeah.
Amazing. As we almost come to a close of this show, okay, so before I ask you that, I think I was debating in my mind which question should I ask you first. How do you how have you found the things you studied in school? Because some of us went to school, studied things, and then we're doing totally different things. But how do you find you now, Tracy, as a person, whatever you have done career-wise, marrying with what you do in desh care?
Hey, all those intermarry very fast. I did international relations and security studies with a minor in peace and conflict transformation. I am currently in communications as a field. Yeah.
Interesting.
But I also do ComDev, community development. And God willing, I would love to do my master's in international development. So you find all this really intermarry, because the things you learn in school about relationships, people think international relations about relationships and everything. Well, it is about relationships. But there's a lot of theoretical structures, and even just what you are writing, how to solve conflicts, how to create policies, the policy frameworks. All of those shape a lot of community development structures that are in government. You find also in the communication space, I now know how to communicate better, even with my donors, my stakeholders. So I can say, not really a lot of the things you do that are really far off. You just need to find out what avenue are they zinapatana. Yeah, they don't need to be really far off. Yeah.
Okay. What do you wish, not what do you wish, what would you tell your younger self?
You're doing it.
Wow, interesting. That's
Yeah.
a nice one. Finally, I think namalizanga mara 1000 kama pasta. What advice would you give young people, either who want to venture into community work or just young people that are listening to you this morning using that camera?
I think an advice to the young people: don't lose hope of your visions, of your dreams. Community work isn't as challenging. I think we're just driven by a lot of money. We want to get fast money, we want to get what? But take life slowly. Take life slowly. Everything adds up. There's no rushing, there's no what. Empower yourself in terms of skills. Study as much as you can. Create those friends in those communities. Because those are your backbone, those are your networks. Yeah.
Your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
Nimekumbuka hiyo. Where can we find you on social media? Or other people who want to contribute to Deshcare?
Everything is on our platforms, Deshcare International. You can find me there. I also help in running some of the accounts. Find us there, just talk to us. We're there to listen.
Amazing. Anything else?
Be good.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for talking to us.
Asante.
Thank you for letting us into the journey of Deshcare. Kuna mtu aliniuliza anataka kujua Deshcare inamaanisha nini. The name Deshcare, what it means. Then I forgot to ask.
It started with Dennis. So the short form
it's
for
someone
Desh.
for it's someone's
the
name
founder.
basically.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it
sawa.
was Desh then Care.
Benja, it's someone's name. All right. Tumemaliza juu najua ningesahau hiyo swali. Tungemaliza hapa ningezo kuniulizia hiyo swali.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for talking to us. Yeah, and yeah, thank you.
Asante.
You're welcome. That was Tracy Opon talking to us about Deshcare International. She is the executive director of Deshcare International, a non-profit organization doing a lot of community work with girls, boys, sanitization, anything, call it, yeah. Amongst the pillars, they're very passionate about education, they're very passionate about period poverty, and they're doing an amazing job. You can reach out to them on their social media handles. She has already told us where you can find them. If you want to contribute and if you also need assistance, please reach out to Deshcare International on all social media platforms. That's all we had for you on Inspiring Stories here at Empowerment Cafe. Do not touch that dial. Val is coming back with the main conversation of the day, and check that question of the day on our social media handle. Alafu mumjibu our engage on the same. From us, bye.